I'm Klimczaks, and it's July, and we're on vacation, and we're taking you on a tour of the real Silent Hill. What you see behind me is the remnants of the ghost town, Centralia, Pennsylvania. Horror fans are familiar with Silent Hill from the video game and from the film, but did you know it was based on a real town in Pennsylvania? Centralia used to be a mining town. It was in 1962, very close to this location, where children from the St. Ignatius Catholic School noticed that the town garbage dump was on fire. Local historians accept this as the origin of the mine fire. It is believed that the vein of coal was ignited by the smoldering ash dump. Stick around after the review, because after you get back from your European vacation, we're going to take you on a tour of the real Silent Hill. Grasp of the Lorelei, released in the US as When the Screaming Stops, is a fun little throwback to the monster movies of the 50s and 60s. But instead of radioactivity breeding the monsters, writer-director Armando de Ossorio finds a much more plausible and terrifying origin for his monster, and that is society. When the Screaming Stops is actually a film about cultural identity, and how beliefs, customs, and norms are more frightening than a woman who can turn into a lizard. The movie first explores the custom of marriage and its relationship to various beliefs and norms. The wedding is preempted by the untimely death of the young bride-to-be when a murderous, mythological lizard woman kills her.
I have to say first that I was surprised at the appearance of the girl's body. What had happened? The heart was gone.
This sets off a panic in the town, and suddenly we find ourselves exploring gender roles. An attractive woman seeks the help of a man to protect her young female charge at some type of women's college for swimming. Not only is it interesting that women look to men to protect them, but they only look to certain men, and always seem knowingly correct.
You don't have to send for Seabird. I'll hunt down this beast.
It's ice cold. We soon won't be able to swim anymore.
See, a woman's college for swimming. Soon we find ourselves exploring gender roles and the differing attitudes toward them. In the end, all of the frolicking turns out to be harmless exploration of human sexuality. Basically, flirting. But look at how different attitudes toward such benign interaction causes so much tension between the people running the show.
Please, may I have the keys to the entrance?
Is that necessary?
Yes, I want to check the security of the doors.
That man can't stay here one more minute.
Why not?
Girls, I don't see him. Where did he go?
Where is he?
Where can he be? I don't see him. They should be punished for this attitude.
Leave them alone. It's only natural.
Hey, there he is! No, hey, he's mine, eh? I saw him first. A young man around here could cause a lot of difficulties.
Oh, I think you exaggerate.
I don't understand your attitude. We're responsible for them.
Elkie, don't worry. I'm the one who's responsible.
The film's American title isn't very fitting. In fact, it could have been called When the Music Stops, and it would have made more sense. Unsurprisingly enough, we find that this culture has some strange beliefs about custom and marriage, and we find out that it is this very belief that ended up ruining the wedding.
That's a strange melody. What is it?
I learned it from my father, and he from his father. They said it was a song of Lorelei. This region's where it took place. Something terrible lay in wait for the navigators of the Rhine.
Well, we've got to be going. One day we'll hear it completely.
The interaction here seems to mimic the way we navigate around denominational differences.
You know much about Lorelei, don't you? Yes, well, you see, the legend is very ancient. Everyone in the whole world knows about it.
Yesterday you said something that was truly amazing.
All artists enjoy their fantasies.
To the point where you think it's real?
It's diverting, isn't it?
Sigurd the Hunter ends up falling under the spell of the Lorelei. What's interesting here is that the Lorelei, who is a supernatural deity the locals fear, is a woman. But this isn't too liberating because even the Lorelei needs a man to take care of her.
You must not detain her here so long. I'll attend her.
It is also interesting to see how this superstitious belief stir the commoners into distrusting the law and taking it into their own hands. Eventually, the Lorelei takes Seargood prisoner, but things don't work out her way when dissension between the commoners and her own court brings down the fortress.
There's no reason why we have to suffer the caprices of Lorelei. I'll set him free, and that'll send her into a rage.
You want him for yourself.
I thought of the whole thing. You beast, get away.
You'll never have him.
In a lot of ways, this feels like an American film. The film was released during the Grindhouse heyday, and there was so much money to be made by the independents back then that Euro directors began to make films directly aimed at this market. This film is one of them, and the American version came with a gimmick. The screen would flash red right before any moments of terror to warn weaker-willed viewers of the visual atrocities. This film is so much fun, I give it 3 out of 5 slashes, and I highly encourage a viewing as soon as possible. Centralia was once an important, thriving community in the heart of the anthracite region. Long after anthracite had ceased being a commodity, a vein of coal beneath the town caught fire and became a toxic hazard. Eventually, Pennsylvania Route 61 had to be closed because smoke from the fire severely impaired visibility. It draws a lot of tourists because of its history, but what's interesting is not what you come here to see, but what you come here to not see. As you can see behind me, there's literally nothing. Here's Railroad Street. Nothing. Here's Troutwine Street. Nothing. Centralia's municipal building is still here. It was in this very building in the early 1980s that Governor of Pennsylvania Dick Thornburgh promised Centralia residents, "You will not be relocated and we will put out this fire." Another government lie that any American is free to come and see for themselves. But folks, the real tragedy here isn't the fire, it's the absence of humanity. This was once a town, a community of families and people, and it's gone. Aside from a few well-kept cemeteries, a few homes, and a municipal building, there is nothing left in Centralia but overgrowth and curious motorists. It wasn't far from this intersection on Wood Street where Todd Domboski fell into a hot sinkhole created by the fire in his grandmother's yard on Valentine's Day in 1981. It's unclear if the debate about what really happens in Centralia will ever be settled. Some will argue with you that the government did the right thing by moving all of these people out. Others will tell you that the fire's gone and that there's no danger. As recently as a few short years ago, smoke could be seen escaping from the ground from this hillside just north of the St. Ignatius Cemetery. The ground is no longer smoking, but the smell of sulfur is undeniably present. Believe it or not, there was a time the road here was so hot from the fire, you could literally fry an egg on it. Thanks for joining us for this tour of Centralia, the town that inspired Silent Hill. If you enjoyed today's location shoot, make sure you look for Chaz Klimczaks' The Centerville Trilogy on Amazon.com. That's my book, 3 horror stories based on real things that happened in and around Centralia, the real Silent Hill. Support horror, friends. Do do do.